Hey YouTube, Adam here, working on another computer video. These are my little server closet area thing. All three of these machines will be the same in a moment. They all have the same case. It's an Antec P100. These two here are my FreeNAS machines, and this one is my Windows Server 2016 machine. I have been updating FreeNAS to FreeNAS 10 or FreeNAS 11 because FreeNAS 10 was broken. I skipped that one. This machine's been upgraded and had a motherboard swap and a Xeon processor installed. This machine is going to get the exact same treatment. The Windows Server already does. So all three of these will be configured with the same motherboard, same processor. The only difference will be hard drive configurations in each machine. So I'm going to go ahead and use my KVM over here and go ahead and issue the shutdown command in a moment. As you can see here, the new machines, when idling, use something around 80 watts. This one has been, in the middle is the old Celeron system that I built a while ago, and it actually uses more power when it's idling. It doesn't throttle down as well and stuff, I guess. So let's go ahead and shut that thing down. And while it's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and get my bench ready and start working over on the, well, it's a kitchen table, but oh yeah, and while I'm over here, I just wanted to show, this is the Linksys switch that I repaired, and it is still functioning perfectly. It's been a couple weeks, it's been under heavy load, so it looks like the new capacitors are holding up just fine. Alright, so here's the insides of the FreeNAS server. You can see it still has that gigabyte, what is it, a GAB75M-D3H motherboard. This is just a consumer level board with a Celeron G530. I have various makes and models of hard drives. I also have some of these hard drive docks here and a bunch of cooling fans and whatnot installed. It's worked fine. I know that part of the reason that I'm doing this is people complain about not having ECC memory, which is recommended but not required for a FreeNAS machine. But I did want to get something a little bit more professional, semi-professional grade. I mean, this is a real server board. We have a Supermicro X9 SCL, which is going to be the CPU, the motherboard that I'm using. I have to actually go find the CPU. I set it down somewhere, but the CPU is a Intel Xeon 12E. I'll have to go look it up. But we have some. This is ECC memory. This is Hynix. These are 4 gigabytes each for a total of 16 gigabytes. I'm not going with 32 just because it's been fine with the 16. I am only going to be running 1, maybe 2 VMs on this. That's one of the reasons I'm upgrading from 9.4 to 11.2 is the VM bhyve is now available on FreeNAS. So these machines are sitting around running, and I might as well put some VMs on them since I'm using the electricity anyway and all that. And I probably am going to end up migrating my Windows server to run on top of BSD in a bhyve, because then I can use ZFS for all of the storage on it instead of NTFS. So anyhow, I'm going to go find that processor and we'll take a look at that and get that dropped in here, because I don't like having the socket exposed. Alright, well, there is our CPU. It is a Xeon E3-1240 V2. Now, I did not go with anything any more state-of-the-art than that, because this will be sufficient for what I'm going to be doing, and it's relatively okay on power. It's like I said, when it throttles down, it seems like it's actually a little bit better than the Celeron that's in there. So I am going to go ahead and get this board pulled. I'm going to switch some Noctua fans out and put the original Cooler Master fans back on this tower cooler. These Supermicro boards come with this really nifty CPU cooler, but it's a passive cooler, and it's meant for a rack-mounted case where there's a bunch of fans stacked, and the air just blows right through. So since we're using a tower case, I'm going to keep using the Cooler Master. I believe it's an N520 that I'm using. So going to keep that going. Alright, so the CPU is comfortably resting, and just to go over this memory again, I'm installing it right now. It's 4 GB, PC3, so it's DDR3 12800. This is ECC memory. It is unbuffered. This board, I did try it just to get testing done with just regular non-ECC desktop memory, and it wouldn't even post with that. So I don't know if it's a combination of the CPU and that memory or what, but it would not even post. So keep that in mind if you're having problems with this. Alright, so everything is installed and ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and put in my USB thumb drive. This is what it's going to boot off of. I actually reformatted this because I am going to do a fresh install because I'm upgrading from version 9 to 11, and it's just going to be better, I think, to just blow away the old installation and start again. So I am putting in my thumb drive that has the installer. Here we are in the system BIOS. See, the fans are all doing just fine. If we look over here, there is our Xeon CPU at 3.4 gigahertz with the memory. Decides to boot into the setup. What button do I press on this thing to get into the boot options? Probably F10, F8, something like that is usually what it is. Of course, it's a server board, so it takes a minute to get rolling. I was using these because the old board didn't have a built-in USB on the motherboard. This just has the onboard header on one end and a couple of USB ports on the other. So as you can see, I do have an Adaptec card installed in this, and actually all three of these machines have exactly the same. It's just an old, it's only SATA 2, I believe, but it's fine. There's old Hitachi hard drives in here as well. Those are getting phased out. I at one point had quite a few of them, but I don't anymore because I'm not a big fan of Hitachi. I guess Toshiba owns them now, but whatever. I'm not a fan of those drives, although those last ones have lasted quite a long time at this point. So I am hoping to see some sort of, seems like it says lost the video signal here. Well, okay, back into setup. Oh, we have to wait for this. Alright, I'll be back when this is going. Alright, well, now that I rebooted, it seems like everything is good to go. So I am going to disable that. Leave that as it is. The only thing that should have a boot record on it should be the installation media here. Seems like there's something I wanted to talk about with this. I don't remember what, but I am considering purchasing some new hard drives because all of these machines have primarily 2 terabyte hard drives in them, and it's a total of about 30 hard drives between all of these machines. There's, as you can see here, if the camera will focus, you can see there's 7 drives here, and then there's, oops, put the cable in the fan. There's 3 more in this enclosure, drive bay thing. It's a 3 and 2 5¼ inch bay adapter. So yeah, I'm thinking about rearranging that so that it is a little bit more efficient. I think I probably will end up just buying like 7 because I have one group of hard drives that is smaller. Yeah, it looks like we're getting into Grub here. That seems good. Why are we in rescue mode on Grub though? Weird. I'm gonna have to mess around with this some more. But anyway, I'll talk about that in a moment. So evidently the problem was it was trying to boot from the FreeNAS, the old FreeNAS boot disk, and obviously that disk no longer has anything on it, so the grub installation on there was like, I don't know what's going on. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get the installation rolling now, and we'll go through the backup, restoring the backup process, and getting everything up and running once that's done. Alright, so the network is up and running, the machine is good to go. We just need to get into the network interface and restore the configuration files. So the problem ended up being that it was naming the two thumb drives the same thing in the boot up, in the boot record stuff, so it's hard to tell which one was which. I was trying to boot from the deleted one, but I got it sorted out, everything's good, and we'll go ahead and go over to the main computer and get this thing back up and running again. Alright, so we've got the machine up and running. It was a bit of a disaster. I had to actually reinstall FreeNAS. I think the thumb drive that I was installing from, that I was writing the image to, was no good because I kept having problems with things just being missing, like Active Directory and stuff like that. That's all working now. We got all of our permissions and what have yous working, so that's good. I did also have an insane problem, which I'm going to have to figure out what to do about with my capture card. It just keeps claiming that things on the PC are copyrighted. This is not copyright. I mean, it's copyrighted, but this is not like a movie or something like that that I should have trouble capturing. So I'm gonna have to figure that crap out. Let's go ahead and we have these warnings here because the new ZFS has new flags, so I'm gonna go ahead and upgrade these. But basically everything is good to go now. I think this machine is probably the machine that will end up getting the newer drives installed. This has my YouTube archives, that has all my templates for various things, the old videos I've uploaded, the current projects I'm working on, and that sort of stuff. But I might add another data set to this and migrate some other stuff off. None of this is encrypted because it's pretty much all publicly posted anyway. I'm going to assume that if I refresh this, that warning will go away. Did we not upgrade those? Well, they'll figure it out at some point. Let's just for now uncheck those warnings because they're stupid. But yeah, I think I'm going to end up having to do what I did with my PlayStation 3, which is I have these monoprice mixem. It's something you can convert streams into things with, and it's kind of complicated, but I think it's going to be necessary in order to deal with the stupid content protection. DCP is just annoying. Copy protection stuff is annoying because it can be relatively easily defeated, but it just never works quite right and makes life miserable and all that crap. I wish they would not do that. Just admit your stuff's gonna get stolen, guys, and come up with a better model. But anyway, that pretty much covers things for this. This is the VM manager. It's really easy to use. I really like this. The performance seems like it's actually relatively good on the VMs as well. I'm actually running one on my other FreeNAS plus I think, no, I have it turned off right now. But I'm thinking about migrating my domain controllers over to run in bhyve. This is kind of a lab setup that I have, so I know what I'm doing when I do this stuff for other people, and also just to play around with other things. But again, everything being on ZFS, having the domain controller have access to the ZFS, the Windows server have access to that is a pretty nice thing. It's nice to have the snapshotting that's available in this, so it's just really better for VMs in general. Of course, you can run this without the NAS, the FreeNAS interface, but I kind of like the FreeNAS interface. You can just install FreeBSD and build all the bhyve stuff and everything up, but I kind of like having the FreeNAS stuff too because it just makes it really easy for me to set up all my shares and whatnot and interact with Windows and all of those various things. So anyway, I don't know what my next project is going to be. I have a pretty long list. I'm just kind of going down. I will be getting back to some vintage PC stuff. That probably be the next thing I do. I actually finalized the configuration of my original Pentium machine, so I want to do a little bit of an update, maybe even do some benchmarking on that. Not that there's much point because it's a Pentium 233 MMX. It's not really, it's a known quantity and it's not that fast. But anyway, thanks again for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you like this video, leave a like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your enemies, everybody. And I'll see you in the next video.